So the witches are at it again. Instead of putting a hex on Donald Trump, our president, they are now putting a hex on Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, they just can't win and they can't figure out what to do about it, so they have resorted to spells. That's right, spells. The Huffington Post writes, modern day witches plan ritual to hex Brett Kavanaugh. Witches are gathering in Brooklyn to hex the Supreme Court Justice. Dakota Bracali, a Brooklyn-based witch who is organizing the October 20th event, said the witches see the hex as a radical act of resistance that continues witchcraft's long history as a refuge and weapon for the oppressed, downtrodden, and marginalized. So there are a group of witches that are going to a bookstore in Brooklyn to do a hex together. They tried to do this on Trump. It didn't work out so well. I mean, we keep on winning, and they're trying to do it to Brett Kavanaugh, which is really interesting because I'm not sure that they are aware as a witch or someone that practices magic that there is the threefold rule, and hexes are pretty dangerous. I mean, it's like an anti-prayer. It's the opposite of putting love and energy out there. It's putting harm and damage onto someone, and the universe only brings that back on you. I mean, just look at these people. Do these people look like they have any magical powers? They don't look too strong to me. And what is this pose this guy is doing? I'm not really aware of this maneuver. Witchcraft has been used throughout history as a tool and ally for people on the fringes of society who will not ever really get justice through the powers that be. So they have to exact their own justice. Bracali, who organized 3 hexes against President Donald Trump last year, said the ritual was meant to be cathartic for victims of sexual assault. Kavanaugh will apparently be a focal point for the hex, but not the only target. The public hex is meant to exact revenge on all rapists and the patriarchy at large, which emboldens, rewards, and protects them. Oh man, this is just such a trope, isn't it? I mean, the patriarchy that emboldens sexual abusers. What society are they living in? I mean, sexual assault and rape, these people go to jail. They get accused. So I don't know who's emboldening sexual predators and rapists. And this is just dangerous. These people better back off and step away from the hexes because they just keep getting the threefold rule back on them over and over again. I mean, maybe it's time that I put my spell into a protection for these people. Now remember, spells are just prayers, okay? So don't freak out about this. Let's all just put our prayers or spells or whatever you want to call it and put our energy into good because we will only get that back. Bracali said a hex is fundamentally different from a binding spell, which is about trying to block someone from doing something and limits others' agency. A hex is a more direct attack that treats its targets as an equal in a supernatural fistfight. While some modern-day witches are opposed to the idea of placing hexes or curses on others because of the potential harm it could cause, Bracali said witches who claim witchcraft is all about good vibes and good thoughts don't have an existence that calls for this type of thing. Many of us do. She said witchcraft was always practiced by people who were cast out, harmed by society, and had to make their own way. So this hex is taking place on October 20th in New York City, and I really, really wish I was still back in New York so I could bring this stuff to you guys. But if in New York, please take some footage of it and send it to me, okay? I want to show the world exactly what this hex is about.
If you want to see more from me and the rest of the Rebel team, like and subscribe.